This is the Hollywood Outsider, and this is a special bonus episode. This episode is strictly for Game of Thrones fans, as we're doing a spoilercast for the recently wrapped Season 3 of the show. We will still have our normal Who episode every Thursday as always, so, Merry Christmas. Anyway, as always, you can find our all these episodes at thehollywoodoutsider.com, iTunes, or Stitcher. This one is only a bonus episode. So if you haven't seen Season 3 of Game of Thrones, through the finale, if you haven't seen it all the way through, just be warned, there's lots of spoilers from here on out. My name is Brian Williams, and with me today are my fellow hosts, Aaron Peterson.
Hey!
What is up, my brother?
It's weird hearing country started off, that's for sure. It's a little odd.
We got to keep our fans guessing.
I kind of think I'm going to start with a twang next time. So
please don't.
Be ready.
It worked for Scott. Also Justin McCumber.
I hear winter's coming.
Is winter ever coming? Seriously.
Oh, it's coming. It's coming.
I would love for the end of this, George R.R. Martin just says at the very end of the books, by the way, winter never actually came.
False alarm.
False alarm.
We misread the charts. My bad. Usually we've got our fourth amigo here, Scott Clark. He had other things going on, so he wasn't able to make it. But whatever. We'll live.
We'll walk it off.
Oh yeah.
We'll try not to cry too much.
Right.
All right, let's go.
All right. Well, just so you know, rather than kind of bounce all over the place, I kind of figured we'd hit just the major plot points from the 10 episodes. We'll kind of go for the most part chronologically, with a couple of exceptions here. I am the uber fan of the group. This is my Firefly to Justin.
Whoa, those are bold words,
yeah,
sir.
This is to me what Firefly is to you guys, or Lost, in whatever the case may be.
You said the word. I didn't.
Yeah, he didn't say it yet. He was waiting. He was giving you some time.
Yep. So basically, I'm the one that's going to be driving this train tonight, and every time one of you knuckleheads gets a name or place wrong, I'm definitely going to smack you. So,
well, that'll be me. That will definitely be me.
Absolutely. All right, well, here we go. We'll kick it off with episode 1, Valar Dohaeris, which means in Valerian, High Valerian, all men must serve.
Now, did you know that off the top of your head, or did you have to look that up?
I actually picked it up.
Speaks it.
I don't remember that part.
It's like Klingon, Star Trek nerds speak that.
Right. Valar Morghulis is all men must die, which was mentioned a couple of times this season.
Yeah, I remember that.
So, Valar Dohaeris. Anyway, once again, it's yet another season, another season that kind of starts up in the above the wall, up in the frozen cold, and we got Samwell Tarly who's running from which I don't know how on earth he was smack dab in the middle of hundreds, if not thousands, of these White Walkers, and yet he somehow got away. He's not exactly the fleetest of foot.
He blends in. Yeah.
So
he's pretty pale. Maybe he could pull it off. I don't know.
This is true. So I don't know. I mean, he got kind of lucky. I mean, I kind of thought we might start out with, okay, we're starting out the season with a death, but looks like he was saved by Ghost, the direwolf there. What'd you got? Did you think it kind of just jumped into it this episode? Or
I'd actually kind of forgotten how the last season ended. So when it opened up with him and just a handful of the Night's Watch, I was like, what happened? It was only, throughout the episode and later on that I remembered what had happened. I really should make a habit of going back and watching previous seasons' finales before watching the next season's opening.
I thought it moved pretty quick. I really, for the most part, don't care about Sam's arc. I mean, it got better as the season went on, but...
That's because you're a fatty hater.
It is, absolutely. Yeah, I don't like him thick.
I like Samwell. He's a nice guy who just tries his hardest, but he knows he's the fat one, the guy that's not going to be saving the group, and that's an extra burden he has to carry on those already pretty burdened shoulders. But he tries to keep a light humor and take what comes, and I've always liked him ever since the first season. I felt sorry for the guy, and I think he's got some hidden strengths that a lot of people can't see through all that blubber.
Well, also, his best friend, Jon Snow. Actually, we finally meet Mance Rayder. We heard him mentioned a number of times in the second season. But we do finally get to see Mance Rayder, also known as the King Beyond the Wall. And he tries to basically infiltrate the wildlings. If you remember, he kind of killed Corin Halfhand. He was like the legendary crow or Night's Watchman. And to try to get in there, I mean, you kind of like, I guess, this thread. I mean, did you buy it? Did it make you kind of, well, did you think he was actually switching? Or
no, I never thought that. I mean, there's some people that said that, well, I thought for sure he was switching sides. Not once did I think that. I was 100% certain he was just, because in the second season when he was just about to kill, the legendary guy, they had discussed it, and he said the only way you're going to get in here is if, you show them that you're on their side. That's why that fight happened. And so the whole reason he's there is just to find out more information, to get back to the Night's Watch. That's really all it is. So I totally saw that coming. The only thing I didn't see coming was the giant.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
I didn't think he was truly turning on the Night's Watch until later on in later episodes when he and, pardon me, I don't remember the girl's name, the redhead.
Egret,
until he and her really formed more of a relationship. And then I thought, maybe he might, because love can make you do strange and sometimes stupid things. But ultimately, I figured if at best he would probably ditch both groups and just head out with her on his own. That didn't quite happen.
No, it sure didn't. Well, I'm sure we'll touch on that later. Mm-hmm. A little bit farther south, I'm sorry, it's shallow, but I just find her extremely good looking. Marjorie Tyrell.
She is beautiful.
She is scrumptious.
I love the depth of Game of Thrones. Let's talk about how hot this chick is.
Oh,
hey, it's a deep show, man. What can I say?
Jesus.
She's a great character too. So fuck it.
I think she's a better character than I don't find her attractive, so I think she's a fantastic character.
Oh man,
I'm sorry.
Wow.
You are so weird.
I am.
But I mean, it looks like she's got her hooks in Joffrey. Looks like she's starting to pull Joffrey away from Cersei's grip. Do you kind of like where they're going with that, there, Justin?
Yeah, I sure did. Cersei's always had, such an overbearing presence in Joffrey's life, and Joffrey's accepted it and tried to flourish under it because she can do and get him what he couldn't on his own. But now that he's, been feeling his oats the past season, he's kind of grown and doesn't quite need her shadow behind him to get things done. And with Marjorie coming in and bolstering his opinion of himself and, changing the views of the people towards the nobility, that's just working even more. And I like seeing Cersei being hoisted on her own petard. She's worked so hard to get him to be king, and now that he's kind of brushing her off. I like to see her turn, but yeah.
I love Joffrey. I know he's not in a good way. I mean, he's a twisted little shit, and I can't wait until if he dies, how he dies horribly. I haven't read the book, so please nobody write and tell me exactly if he does and when. I don't need to know.
No, absolutely. Let me go ahead and say that right here, that none of us have read anything past any of these seasons. Mm-hmm. So we, all three of us, and even Scott, are watching them as brand new viewers. We have no idea. At least I do anyway, avoid any spoilers that I possibly might, get near, much less, come across. So we are all going into this as new viewers, not knowing anything beforehand. Mm-hmm. So
I know some people that when they do Spoilercast, they have somebody that's read all the books and everything. I honestly don't think it's pertinent to the TV show. I think people should. It's great that information's out there if you really want to find it, but I kind of want to stick to the television program, and because I want to see where it goes, because it might go to different places. You never know. I think it already has so far. But back to Marjorie, she's great. I think she's a positive Cersei. Where Cersei is more self-serving, it seems like Marjorie is very much about the people, very much about preserving King's Landing and her home. I think she's a fantastic character. The way that they have developed her, because I really hated her in the last season. I'm like, oh, this is just a manipulative wench.
Just a gold digging bitch.
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And then you see her, what she's trying to do and actually help the homeless. And she cares about Sansa. And as she goes on, she continues to care about the people while also twisting this little shit to do her bidding. I love her.
I mostly agree with you. I think she's but I actually think she's just as sneaky and as self-serving as Cersei. She just goes about it in a different manner. She does it more in a I guess a peaceful or way, where Cersei, she'll just flat out have you killed. Marjorie Tyrell will actually win. She's much more of a charmer. She'll win over whoever she has to get whatever she needs done. I just think she's a little bit more of a charmer than Cersei. Cersei's like, I mean, she even told Ned Stark, look, you're messing up. I will have you killed.
Fair enough.
So, actually, across the sea over to the east, Dany has left. Daenerys Targaryen has left Karth, and basically she now lands in Astapor to buy an army. This army is a group of eunuchs called the Unsullied, and are renowned for their loyalty and their fighting prowess. It wasn't long ago she didn't even have a boat. Now she's got an army. This girl looks pretty tough, don't she, Aaron?
Now, are they all eunuchs?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought maybe there was a couple that snuck in because.
What, like that guy on History of the World Part 1?
Yeah, exactly. He just came in through the cat door. He just got in. I mean that she's grown leaps and bounds from the second season. I mean, right now she's got an army. When it's all said and done, it's even bigger. I mean, she's pretty impressive. And you have to wonder exactly who's going to rule once all of this stuff, when all the cards are played out. But the fact that she's built this and some of her stuff, which we're going to talk about later, that happens throughout the season, fantastic.
Yeah, when you look back to that first episode of the first season, and she was really nothing more than a pawn to be used by her brother, and now to see her gathering this army behind her, it is such a change, but it's been a really incredible growth for her character, and I can't help but just kind of be in awe of what she's been able to accomplish and what she looks to continue to be accomplishing. It's a pretty steep rise compared to where she had been.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, obviously, I mean, there is a way of telling, but as far as just a viewer, it's really hard to see how far this one's really going to go. Moving on to episode 2. This one, we'll primarily talk here about Jaime Lannister and his kind of relationship and evolution with Brienne of Tarth. Basically, if you guys remember, Catelyn Stark had her escort Jaime back to King's Landing, and it's almost been like a Lord of the Rings type trek here, just walking and walking and walking.
Walking, we're going to talk some more, we're going to walk some more, we're going to talk some, we'll give you a hand, then we walk some more, we talk some more. That's their whole trek.
Absolutely.
Will they, won't they?
When's it going to happen?
Yeah, exactly. This tension is just too much. But if it's one thing I've learned, anytime you come across somebody, especially if you're trying to sneak from one place to the other, just kill them. Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Just, this is, they debated whether or not to kill a passerby, and turns out, they should have, because he sold them out. By the time that they finally start, they finally have a fight. Jaime steals one of Brienne's swords, and even though he's tied, his hands are tied, and he's not had a bath in like a year.
Sure seems like that.
He hasn't fought anybody in a year. He's a little rusty. He still puts a pretty good fight against a very stout Brienne. Just before, I guess there was one of them dies. Some of Roose Bolton's men, who was actually a bannerman of Robb Stark, some of his guys stumbled across him and pick him up. Didn't really go too well for him, did it there, Aaron?
No. Turns out that was a bad call. He should go back and revisit that idea. That did not seem to work out very well for him.
Jaime's very good. I mean, he's almost as good with the silver tongue stuff there as he is with a sword, but I guess he kind of pushed it a little too far because the guys were actually going to rape Brienne, and he convinced them not to, and then kind of pushes like a little bit further and basically had his good hand cut off.
Now, do you think they would have cut his hand off no matter what?
No.
Like if you wouldn't have said anything and if they just went over there and did whatever they had to do?
No, I think even if he would have just let it go with Brienne, I think they would have been fine. I think they would have let her go, and not let her go, but they wouldn't have raped her, and I think that they would have left him alone. But as these Lannisters seem to do, they kind of he kind of just mouthed off a little bit too much.
You might say he overplayed his hand.
Dun, 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 dun. And one of the things that people have talked about all season, and I personally have a theory, the reason that he has so much respect for Brienne my opinion is that it's because he sees someone that's a loyal soldier. So he respects that. He sympathizes with that. She's very similar to him in that respect. That's my opinion, because the guy is still a douchebag. People keep saying, well, he's redeemed himself. No, he pushed a fucking kid out of a window and he bangs his sister. He didn't redeem anything. He just happens to side with this one person. I think he just respects her. Do you think that's what it is?
Well, I think he respects a lot of things about her. One, she's a woman serving in, a man's army. She's putting herself in situations that so many others, even men wouldn't put themselves, but she does it. She's strong of heart. She's noble in her nature. And I think he finds a lot to admire in a person who's willing to do all that. And she's obviously a faithful servant to Catelyn Stark, and wants to get him to a King's Landing because that's what Catelyn wanted. She wants her daughters back. So that's what she's going to exchange him for, and she's entrusted him with her, and so she's going to try and do that to the best of her ability, and that's it's respectable, and I think that as a guy, that sort of respect can lean into maybe not romance or something like that, but an attraction of sorts, and when she's put in danger that he knows there's nothing she can do to get out of, no matter how good of a swordswoman she is, that kind of kicks in that need to try and save the damsel, so to speak. And I think that helps pull more of his good qualities forward.
I think it goes deeper than just respect because she's a tough broad.
Did you just say broad?
Yeah, I kind of,
Welcome to 1975. All right, Bert.
Yeah, I think it's deeper. For one thing, I mean, he rushes back to save her from being killed by a bear. I don't think he would have done that just because he respected her as a warrior or because of her sense of honor. I think he actually cares for her. I mean, he even opened when they finally get a bath and they're in a bathhouse and stuff, and Jaime actually opens up and tells the story of why he killed the Mad King, Aerys Targaryen. Mm-hmm. And you can see it's a real sensitive moment, and it hurts him that his nickname is the Kingslayer. He did, his justification was, I'm saving 500,000 people by doing this. It's not the right thing to do, but it's, or it's not the popular thing to do, but it is the right thing to do. And by doing that, he's, forever, blemished as being a Kingslayer. And that's a major sore point to him because, to kind of back up your point about being the sense of honor and everything, he is a very loyal person. He doesn't care about ruling the Seven Kingdoms and stuff. He just likes being a good soldier. And so that's a very, very deep, very deep cut to him. So I think he does have deep feelings for her.
Do you think he has romantic feelings for her?
I think so.
Really?
I think so.
Fair enough. Do you think... Well, here's the bigger question.
I think shit's about to get really awkward in season 4 between now that he's back in King's Landing.
He can only take
he's
care
like,
of...
which blonde do I go with? Which one?
Who's gonna accept me for only having one hand? That's the one he's gonna go with. Do you think he's redeemed himself at all?
It's hard to say a guy, an incestuous SOB who pushes a little kid out of a 5-story window or whatever it is can be redeemed. That's just one. Oh man, I don't know.
I think he's on the path though.
Yeah,
and when he talked about the Mad King and why he did what he did, it serves to make you think. Well, what if I did something that I knew when I did it that it was the good thing, the best thing I could do, but other people are going to assume that I did it because I'm just a heartless traitor, or because I saw that Robert Baratheon was going to win and I wanted to endear myself to the winning team. They would always look at him with skepticism and suspicion. No matter what position he held, there were going to be those who cast a lot of aspersion on him. And I think that having to bear that for as many years as he bore it really did kind of darken his character and make him. He's like, if this is how they see me, then that's just how I'm going to be, and I'm just going to live down to their expectations. Does that make it okay that he pushed a child out of a window? Certainly not. But I don't think that Jaime is a character that is beyond redemption. I think he is a guy that's maybe been looking for an opportunity or a way to change his state in things, and maybe this is a chance for him to do that and to be a good guy again. So we'll have to see, but I would like to see him become a better person. I could see it in the character.
Yeah, I agree. I really love how far he's another one that doesn't get as much attention as Dany Targaryen, but as far as the distance he's come with his character, like I say, he was a total douchebag in episode 1. Didn't get a whole lot better in the first season, but between the end of the first season through the second and obviously all the way through the third, he's come a long way. And if there's anybody in this group that's deserved a get out of jail free card, it might be him.
Mm.
Bran might disagree, but we'll see.
Yeah. As a dad, that's probably the one character that's not redeemable in my eyes, but I see what you're saying.
Well, he was looking at windows that weren't his business.
Yeah, you're definitely. I could see what you're saying. Good point. Good call.
So he kind of had it coming.
He had it coming. Apparently, so did Cersei. You know what I'm saying?
He can Tom.
Just don't worry. It's only because he paralyzed the kid for the rest of his life.
Hey, we learned the kid's able to later on. We learned he's got some power, so he ain't all handicapped.
Yeah,
I'm sure Jaime knew there was a Hondo laying around. Or Hondor. Why do I keep saying Hodor? I bet that was the easiest screen test they ever had. Hodor.
Say Hodor.
Say Hodor.
Okay.
You're in.
It looked dumb.
Yeah, I mean, like we've kind of run the full season arc with this. I really did, because again, I didn't want to kind of go from episode to episode going, okay, now they got a hand cut off. Now they're doing this. Now they went from this room to that room. So kind of along the same lines here, we're going to tackle Theon Greyjoy's horrible season.
Oh, God.
Speaking of,
he must have read this script going, fuck.
Wait, before you get to that, you had mentioned Sansa spills the beans to Marjorie. You didn't even bring that up. I just want to point out, and that's a small part, and it gets bigger as the season go on when Sansa talks to Marjorie and Olenna Tyrell. But what is the actress's name that's playing her?
Marjorie?
No, Olenna Tyrell.
The grandma.
The grandma. Okay, Diana Rigg. She was fantastic. Probably my favorite addition for the whole season of all the new people. I just want to point that out before we go, because I'll forget to say it later.
No, I agree. I mean, she brought a wit and humor that really, that the show really needs, especially as dark as the show gets throughout this season. She really is that little bit of levity that kind of, along with Tyrion, she's really good with the one-liners.
All right.
Just a no-nonsense, kind of person who she understands the world. She kind of understands her place. She knows how far her power does and does not extend, and she enjoys using it when she can. I did. Every time she was on the screen, I just kept waiting for art. Who's she gonna belittle and beat down now?
Yay! All right, now you go back to your dick in a box guy.
Oh,
Whoa!
wow!
Literally.
Step one.
Yeah, like I say, we're going to kind of run through the whole gambit here with Theon Greyjoy and his horrible.
Because he basically just gets tortured all season. That's about it.
That's all. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this guy's. I mean, just not only is he getting his junk cut off, his fingers filleted. I mean, the guy was let go and just totally just mind fucked. Just, I don't know. This is just. I mean, even considering the stuff he did, do you even feel sorry for him, Justin?
No, I don't. He's a fucking traitor. And when you watch the first season, you know that he's not there in Winterfell because he's a child of the Starks, but they treat him in a lot of ways like one of their sons. And I really had high hopes for him. And last season when he turned against the Starks and became a traitor to them, really just kind of broke my heart. And then when he just went full out at Winterfell and trying to find Bran and Rickon, it just killed me. And ever since then, I'm like, fuck this guy. Keep cutting off an inch of skin at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You got this coming. You turned on your people for a family that didn't show shit love one bit.
And I will tell you know what I want to point out. My wife was starting to feel sympathetic for Theon, and we started watching before the finale. We started watching the last few weeks. We started watching the first two seasons over again. At the end of the second season, she's like, "Yeah, I don't feel sorry for him anymore," because it's been so long since you saw what he did. It's not real fresh in your mind because it wasn't the biggest stuff that happened in season 2. Mm-hmm. So you go back and rewatch that close to this, and you realize what a dick he really was. Fuck him. Cut it off. I'm glad they cut it off. I'm glad they cut it off right before he got any, too.
Yeah, I mean, I actually agree with you guys. I mean, it's tough to watch, especially with the whole in the last episode the other night was all the visual. He's eating his torturer
eating the sausage.
is eating the sausage.
Everybody we were watching it with going, is that what I think it is? I'm like, no, they're not. It's not going to be chewing on a guy's penis. Come on,
right?
Yeah, pork sausage.
Even on HBO, they wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I mean, and they really did a good job of keeping this guy a secret the whole time. I guess, of course, if you read the books, you probably knew who.
No,
he was.
I knew who it was. I knew who it was right away.
How did
Really?
you know?
Because they said so in the second season, if you paid attention. When Rob was talking to, what's the guy's name? Bolton, the guy that killed...
Roose Bolton.
Yes, Bolton. When Rob Stark was talking to Bolton, Bolton said, I can send my son to him, and he's a little twisted, and he can exact real vengeance on him. And then,
I completely missed that.
Mm-hmm. So I thought it was Ramsay. I mean, I thought it was Ramsay was his son. I mean, I wasn't sure. I'm like, well, maybe it's not, because throughout this went on for so long. But no, I thought it was Ramsay.
I'll tell you my clue, and that.
To be fair, I don't normally pick up on that shit. That was just random. So,
in full disclosure,
I am not more astute than these two. They're far more
just,
astute than I am. I just happened to catch that one bit.
His the Bolton sigil, the banner. Mm-hmm. Like the Starks have the dire wolf. The Greyjoys have the Kraken. Bolton's banner,
a dick in a box,
is close, but it's that X that Theon was tied up against, and but I believe the man is characterized upside down. That for me was my clue.
I did not catch that.
So between the two of us, we got this shit figured out.
I'm telling you. But I will say, I think that was the longest reveal. That was the most unnecessary one I've ever seen. There's really, now that you know who it is, what would he do? Really. It wasn't that big a deal.
Yeah, it was a little, the payoff wasn't as worth all that build-up, I guess.
No, and in fact, Bolton should consider getting his son some therapy because that kid's fucked up. It takes a twisted man to do that shit. Twisted.
Well, yeah, I believe he says in the last, he's like, yeah, he's special or something like that. I mean, he even acknowledged this fact that he's a bit twisted. So, a couple other things in the second episode, we do learn that Bran is a warg, which basically means he can jump into animal bodies. He learns that from meeting some people on this little trek, Jojen and Mira Reed. Turns out Jojen is a warg also, and he's kind of going along teaching Bran.
How did they know Bran was there?
Jojen knew from his warg.
Warging?
Warging. Warging.
So.
Jeez.
So, and I think he said something along the lines that he knew he had to find him. And he just kind of knew what direction he had to go. Kind of like what they're doing now with, I've got to look for this three-eyed crow north of the wall. So I don't know where I'm going. I just got to know I got to go north of the wall right now. So kind of the same thing. Yeah. Also, Arya and Gendry, they run into the Brotherhood Without Banners, who is led by, Beric Dondarrion, who was actually mentioned in the first season. But if you were confused about that, it is a different guy playing him than the guy that played Beric in the first season. So
is it really?
Yeah, it's a different guy.
Looks similar.
So
okay, I love Arya. Arya.
Yeah, you were. So she's pretty much one of your favorite people now.
We'll get to that at the very end, but yeah, she's definitely jumped to the front of my favorite character list.
Awesome. All right, well, we'll pick things up a little bit here. Episode 3, probably the most awkward funeral I've ever seen.
I thought it was fantastic.
It was hilarious. Edmure is a freaking idiot, which we get the first glimpse of.
When he shoots the arrow and he misses like 8 times.
And his uncle, the Blackfish, he's money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he just, boom, launches that arrow.
He didn't even wait for the arrow to land before he turned around. So he was like just nothing but net.
Yeah.
He should have just dropped the bow and walked on.
Bang!
So funny.
Oh man. This whole time, these first few episodes, Tyrion, he's been begging for his props.
Mm-hmm. He deserved it too.
Absolutely. And he finally got his recognition as he's been awarded the position Master of Coin, which didn't sit too well with him. Do you think he got what he deserved there, Aaron?
No. I mean, his dad threw him a bone. That's cool. I was more interested in the scene that they shared, which is very reminiscent of the scene that they shared in the last episode, where Tyrion has to face the fact that you really see what you don't see much of, because Tyrion has a great facade, that all he really wants is his dad to appreciate him. Like, if his dad appreciated him, Tyrion would probably just do exactly what his dad wanted. But because he never gets it, he's constantly trying to be seen as similar to Jaime, or at least, equal. And so when he gets this, he sees it as a slight. I think it is definitely a slight, but hey, you got a job, so can't really complain either. And honestly, his dad has a point too. And when they have this scene and he tells him, hey, basically, you're a drunk and a whore. As a dad, I understand where he's coming from. I'm like, you know what? I can understand what you're saying. Maybe.
Yeah, but how much does his dad have to be responsible for that son's behavior? I mean, how long can you take your dad's scorn and derision before you're finally just like, fuck it? If that's how he's going to act towards you. It reminds me of Jaime. How long can you take that kind of attitude from people before you just start being the person that they think you are?
That's true.
I think his dad is a motherfucker. He is just he's a masterful tactician, and obviously a very charismatic and strong individual. But his dislike for his son is so open and glaring. I almost can't blame Tyrion for rebelling against everything his father kind of stands for and acting in ways that he knows his dad's going to hate. I think there's plenty of blame on both sides of that table.
Does he remind you of your dad at all?
Fuck my dad. Fuck this dad too. Fuck all dads. You too, Aaron.
All right.
I'll tell you that the thing that I do like about Tywin is his character is listening to him dole out some bullshit like whatever Master of Coin stuff to Tyrion and everything, and go, yeah, Tyrion deserves more and all this stuff, and then you hear his rationale, and then go, well, damn, that actually makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When Cersei is like, look, Jaime's missing, don't know where on earth he is. I'm smarter than him anyway. Tyrion is Tyrion. God knows you ain't going to let him do anything. Shouldn't I be the one that kind of takes over when you're gone? And he's like, fuck you. You can't do shit. You can't even control your son. Why would I entrust you with anything? And it's like, oh, yeah. All right. So
you ain't swallowing her bullshit either.
I really like Tywin Lannister. Honestly, he's probably... I know he's a bad guy, but I love that guy.
I like him, but like you like a good villain.
Yeah, he's like Darth Vader. I love him.
He's got a powerful presence on that screen.
But I will tell you what, that motherfucker showed up, I would follow him. I'd be like, I think he's right. Whatever he's just said, I think he's right.
And again, I don't...
Stark. I'm not fighting for him.
Aaron, if you go jump in that river, drown yourself. It'll save the kingdom. All right.
On my way.
I'll do it for you.
I think in the book he's a much more dislikable person. But I honestly, he's one of my favorite characters. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily like him, I guess on a personal level, but he is to me one of the best characters. And like you said, he has got just a tremendous screen presence.
He has met his kind of match, so to speak, in Alina Tyrell. I mean, both of them are crusty old fucks who they see through all the BS.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but he even...
She cut him down a little bit.
Yeah, see, he's got a lot more to him, and I think he's just somebody that's very strong, and he's trying to stand up, and I do believe he cares very much about the family name and where the family stands, and seeing the small pieces last season with him and Arya, I'm sorry, I like the character. I think he's a lot more layered than he originally was thought to be. He's
like Stannis Baratheon, but better.
No, I don't like Stannis Baratheon. I think he's
hate Stannis. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that later, but yeah, I'm not a fan of him.
A couple other little quick tidbits. Mance Rayder sends a party to the Wall, including Jon Snow, and the last little bit of last couple of dozen or so of the Night's Watch survivors return to Craster's Keep to let's just say it's a little bit less than a warm reception. Mm-hmm. So
I'm surprised they didn't kill that fucker a long time ago.
Who?
Yeah, just kill him and take the house. I mean,
well, that kind of goes against their code, doesn't it? I mean, they do have a code, right?
Who's going to tell on them?
That's right.
And who are they going to tell on them to?
Listeners, if there's ever an apocalypse and you want somebody trustworthy, stay the fuck away from Georgia. That's all.
You just look to the left, you look to the right, ain't nobody looking. Bam. Whoops, he tripped on my sword.
Ooh. Moving on to episode 4, we actually see a little bit a side of Lord Varys. He's the bald eunuch that is kind of commonly referred to as the Spider. We kind of see a dark side of him. I mean, he's kind of been a guy that him and Littlefinger Peter Baelish, otherwise known as Littlefinger, kind of play off of each other. And again, Littlefinger is more of a dark side. Varys, kind of like Marjorie Tyrell, goes about getting his way in a little bit, usually more peaceful, more diplomatic fashion. As we found out, though, he can be a pretty dark son of a bitch, though. Do y'all remember that? The scene where he reveals to Tyrion he tells him of how he became a eunuch and shows him the...
Oh, yeah, and then the head at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Or the guy in the box.
The guy in
the box.
Everybody's got boxes in this fucking show.
Everybody's got a dick in the box. I mean, it might be a literal dick. It might be just an asshole guy.
Step 1.
I don't blame him. I mean, that motherfucker did that to me. That revenge is cold, and that's when it's best served.
Theon's, he's going to want to meet this guy and find out how he did it so Ramsay can get in his box.
Yeah, and I mean, he even kind of gives Tyrion a little bit of, hey, look, man, I understand. I know where you're coming from, but, if you're willing to wait long enough, I have no doubt, revenge will be yours. So
I thought that was a great scene, and also it showed that he has more to him than just the manipulative, whatever the hell we thought. See, for most of the first couple of seasons, I thought he was just like Littlefinger, just slowly trying to get his little paws in power. I don't think it's that way at all. I think he actually cares about the kingdom, and he's just trying to move the pieces to make things work out the way he thinks they should work out. Where Littlefinger, I think, wants power for himself.
I still think he's got an ulterior motive.
Everybody in this show.
I still think there is something that he's. I don't think it's been revealed. It may not for a little while, but I still think. I think you're right, though. I think he does care for the king, for the realm. But I also think, like everybody else, nobody's just that cut and dry. Nobody's only one thing. I think he does have some sort of.
He has an agenda,
underlying agenda, right?
And just because you love the kingdom doesn't mean that. Well, I love it, and I do everything I can for it, but that doesn't mean I can't profit by it.
Yeah, I'd much rather. I have a lot more love for the kingdom when I'm sitting up here in this fancy palace.
That's right.
Laying down in flea bottom, eating brown stew or whatever they call it. Yeah, back up in north above the wall, Craster and Jeor Mormont are killed off whenever there's a little bit of a kind of an uprising there.
So they do exactly what you would do, apparently, which is take them out. Nobody's looking. Take them out.
Look, I didn't say I would do it. I just said
you actually. Yes, you did. You said exactly that. You said, "Hey, whatever you got to do, man. Nobody's looking. Take them out." And Justin had a whole way to do it. He's like, nobody's looking. You look left, and you look right, then you kill him.
I just wouldn't have lost my top guy doing it.
Exactly.
Right. There's ways to, Anyway, this is about the time where Samuel and his girlfriend, who just gave birth to her,
mewling male son,
gave birth to her father's son. They basically haul ass. He convinced her let's just bolt. Let's just get the hell out of here. So they take off towards the wall, and Dany makes a pretty cool exchange for her army.
Was that the episode with the big finish? Was that episode 4 with the big finish?
Yeah, with the when she gives the dragon away and then says, "Oh, by the way."
Yes, okay. I wanted to make sure.
You've been saying this whole time.
I didn't know if it was the same episode. That was one of my favorite scenes of the whole season. Sometimes I wish that would have just been the end of the season, because that would have been so awesome to have that be the end.
Yeah, it's just one of many good endings that the season had. But when she turned it around and revealed that she understood every single word he was saying, that was a pretty sweet little reveal. And then the dragon scorching him, that was sweet justice.
I'm just happy because hardly ever in this series do you actually get to see revenge or payback. Because everybody think, they're going to get back at him. No, they'll get killed long before, Robb Stark, hello. So it was really nice to see somebody actually get paid back the way they should have been paid back.
Yep. Mm. Yeah, I know she didn't have a microphone back then, but she had that whip thing, so that was kind of like that version of boom. She just dropped it.
Well, she's doing the right thing in that she's trying to gather an army that doesn't follow her out of fear and doesn't follow her out of, because they've been bought and paid for, but that they're going to follow her because they believe in her and because they love her. People are going to fight a lot harder for somebody they love than somebody who's just strictly paying them or keeping them in fear. And so by turning this slave army into this all-volunteer army is a brilliant move, and I liked that she was heading that direction.
Mm-hmm. And plus, it was such an ass. I mean, seriously, if they would have played that Karate Kid song, "She's the best around," at the very end, I would have got up and started clapping. That's all that was missing from that ending.
Well, maybe on the Blu-ray that'll
they
pop
should.
Up on
if you're listening, extras. Thrones producers, make that happen, because I will buy 3 copies if you do that.
The next week in episode 5, Kissed by Fire, we have the the big showdown between the Hound and Beric Dondarrion with fire swords. The Hound fucks him up pretty bad, but
He does. He cuts him in half. How did the guy glue him back together? That's
Well,
the
he
one.
only cleaved down to about his shoulder blade and his chest a little.
He was pretty split. He looked like the T-1000 there for a minute.
I think
man.
that went down to like his, almost his midsection there. I mean, it was pretty deep.
Yeah, he hit a kidney. I'm pretty sure.
Oh man.
Now, how did they stitch him up? Because that's where I'm
They
confused.
didn't. The Lord of Light saved him.
Lord of Light saved him. So why doesn't Lord of Light save some of these other people?
He
They're
doesn't
not
seem.
believers enough.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Fair enough.
He's got his reasons, man.
Apparently, he works mysterious ways. We know how that goes.
Oh, now the Tyrells, as we kind of mentioned, Marjorie and stuff. They are very scheming, I should say. So they are kind of planning to have Sansa marry Sir Loras, and that didn't go too well whenever Tywin found out. So he kind of beat him to the punch and arranged for Tyrion to marry Sansa and Cersei to marry Loras. Tywin, one more reason why just Tywin is the man. He is one step ahead of everybody.
That's true. And the fact that he's just giving his daughter away to whoever will take her. What a proud dad.
Yep.
That part I take back my hero theory. It's kind of a dick move, Dad.
Well, and this was
She's like 40-something years old. Yeah, go out and bear another child. I don't care if it's going to kill you. Go ahead.
this is also kind of the scene where we see Tywin and Olenna kind of go head to head with their little negotiations and stuff, and they basically call each other out like, "Look, your son's gay." Yeah, well, at least my son ain't fucking his sister,
That was pretty funny.
So yeah, that was pretty good. Robb Stark still kind of making bad choices. Poor guy.
This whole season, he made bad choices. I mean, did he just decide, I'm tired of being an awesome warrior and I'm going to make stupid calls for a while?
Yeah, I'm just going to piss off everybody who's sworn to me and just make them all run away.
He's like the one guy who cuts the guy's head off. Hey, guess what? It's probably bad if I cut this guy's head off, but I'm just going to do it anyway. What the fuck? And then, yeah, it's going to cause half your army to go away. No, they'll walk it off. They didn't. They did not.
Oh, man. But, yeah, and so anyway, doing all that, it kind of forces him in a corner. And he's left no choice but to align with Walder Frey, which we will, of course, mention him a little bit later.
Oh, by the way, he fucked him too already. So, by the middle of the season, he's already fucked two major people that'll cost him like 2 armies.
Well, it costed more than that.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yep, we'll get there, people. That'll probably be the longest part.
Oh, man. Also, Sam and Gilly, they're still kind of moving towards the wall. And Jon gives Ygritte the Lord's kiss there. So
what's the Lord's kiss? Does that mean doing it?
It's kind of when they were in the cave and she stripped down and he went down. You know what I'm saying?
So did they actually have sex or he just went down? That's the part I was always confused on. Do they actually...
Because the oral sex isn't really sex.
Yeah, exactly. I go by Bill Clinton's theory my whole life. So is that... Did they have sex or not?
I'm assuming I'm sure if they started out with that, I'm sure they went all the way. All right, and next in episode 6, The Climb, Littlefinger gets one over on Lord Varys. We kind of... Lord Varys had turned Roz to his side. Roz, the former prostitute, now house whatever, brothel mother, brother madam, or whatever she is.
My pick for best body of all the naked people in Game of Thrones so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I could call you wrong.
Not going to argue
she
too
is
much.
Stunningly gorgeous.
But Littlefinger found out about it and basically turned her into a pincushion for Daryl Jr.
That was fucked up.
God.
That was pretty awful.
Yeah, I hated seeing that. She was a great character. Just to be dispatched like that was terrible.
The thing I did like what they did was so often, you watch these shows and you see characters that have come in and out, and they always have a death scene, or it's either dramatic or it's drawn out, or you kind of know what's coming. I got to tell you, they do a really good job of not doing that thing
Not telegraphing.
like Lost did, where it was their episode, or something like that. Sometimes, like Roz, they didn't even show anything before that. They just showed her body riddled with arrows.
Yep.
I love
Joffrey looking at her like,
I killed that.
This shit's fun.
Yeah, that dude is twisted and needs a hug. Bad. Quickly.
Well, you can hug him. I ain't touching him.
I do have one question, and this is, I'm sure they said it at some point, but I don't remember. Why do they call him Littlefinger? Is that his name?
because he comes from an island called the Fingers, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right.
And he was little.
Yeah.
That's it?
It's not because he has a tiny peener.
You never know. I was going for that, but I was just kind of curious how he got that name. I thought there was some really cool story, and apparently there's not.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was because he was small in stature as a kid or whatever, or if the
right.
specific
Yeah,
or if the specific island that he was from is called Littlefinger. But either
If
way,
I remember correctly, Caitlin said that either Caitlin or Ned said that he was always smaller than the other boys.
Okay.
And that's why they called him Littlefinger, and he did come from the Finger Isles.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Cool. Yeah, there also was that really cool wall, the wall climbing scene, which was the guy with the ginger beard.
Where he basically they get a little loose and he decides to cut right away. He doesn't even try to fucking.
Well, no, he didn't. It was the guy from Oral. He was the skinny one-eyed guy from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they started gnawing on that
he's
rope
the one that tried to cut him
right
loose.
away. They didn't even give him a shot to try to swing him to the side or something like that. I mean, they just start. He's like, "Oh, nope, this ain't gonna work."
Well, yeah, I mean, he's jealous of John, so he's like, "Fuck this! Here's my chance."
Yeah, I did it because I love you. That's why I was gonna kill you too.
Yeah, and when Bran and the gang are still traveling, and of course Osha, she doesn't really, she just doesn't trust Jojen and Mira too much, so she's kind of causing some waves and everything going on.
I was sad to see her walk away. She was a good character.
Which one?
Yeah,
Osha, she was the wildling.
That's kind of looking out for him. She's looking out for the boys. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because she left. I keep forgetting that she left. I liked her.
Yeah.
Even if she did, every time she looked at anything, it was always like that sultry, you want to do it look. Like she couldn't even look at a picture without going, "Hey, picture, what's up?"
That's just how you see it, you filthy.
She was naughty. She's a naughty gal.
And Melisandre, she shows up out of the blue and at where the Brotherhood without banners are hanging out, and picks up Gendry, buys him off.
That was such a bullshit move. They just threw him to the wolves. Like, all right, bye.
Welcome. You're one of us now. Woohoo!
Whoops,
Yeah,
how much?
Yeah.
Sure, here you go.
That's how much you're worth, kid.
So,
And for those who don't remember, Melisandre is the red, what do they call her, the Red Witch or something?
Mm-hmm.
Red Sorceress, something or other.
And my runner-up for best body of all the unnecessary nudity.
Yeah, until she gave birth to Voldemort.
Well, I skipped that part.
I don't know, the one, when Podrick gets laid by the three hookers, and the one that does the little back bend thing, I gotta say that's at least an honorable mention.
That's worth a mention. You forgot that part, didn't you? Wasn't it? I don't know which episode that was in.
I don't know. I don't care, but I'll be glad to mention it from here on.
Next season, are we going to have to start keeping a list of the nudes and rank them?
No, because this show has so much unnecessary nudity. It's just ridiculous.
No, it is all necessary. Thank you.
It's all necessary.
All of it.
I might give you that argument for the first season. There might be one or two that was unnecessary, but this one, yeah, it's all pertinent.
Gotcha. It all moves the plot forward. I understand.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
Or
right.
serves the setting and the world.
Next in episode 7, The Bear and the Maiden Fair. Arya runs from the Brotherhood only to be captured by the best babysitter ever, the Hound.
Mm-hmm.
Another guy who's kind of becoming somewhat of, I wouldn't say a good guy, but he's not the bad guy from the first season.
Now, he's the one that I think, to the opposite of Jaime Lannister, I can actually sympathize with. Like, I can buy his redemption because, you know, he followed orders. That was his job. He's a man of honor. I believe he has honor because he does what he's told. And in that realm, that's what you're supposed to do. Jaime, he did a couple other creepy. He did evil, selfish actions.
He did. I mean,
the evil actions that the Hound did were because he was instructed he had to. He didn't do anything evil of his own volition.
To your point about honor, and for the most part, I agree with you. But just to play devil's advocate here, he did say "fuck Joffrey, fuck the king," and bail on him at his neediest time.
Yeah, once he realized that, you know, this kid is gonna fuck us all. Then he finally
I can't blame a guy for saying that to Joffrey.
Yeah, he finally had a semblance of self, and I think he just realized, this is not my king. This is not a king. I can't serve this man anymore. You know.
Fair enough.
And
he kind of did what Jaime did, though.
Oh.
He saw a king doing what he, you know, couldn't abide by, and did what he felt was right. Jaime killed him. The Hound left.
That's true.
I hope probably left to have Joffrey die at the hands of whoever, but you know they both kind of did the same thing in a you know, tangential way.
Maybe if he had a sister, and I'd feel the same way, but since he doesn't, I like
the only sibling he's got's the brother who burned him. Burned his face all up.
Who even tried to kill him again
at
that little tournament a couple of seasons ago.
But, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Oh man.
So you're not buggering that guy.
Melisandre finally lets Gendry know who his father is. So he finally finds out that his father is he's a bastard son of Robert Baratheon. So I don't, you know, I mean, this it doesn't get a whole lot talked about, but Gendry's really got kind of a mind fuck thing going on himself here. You know, I mean, he fled the city. He had the Kingsguard track him down way out in the woods a little while later. They were overrun by the guards, got away. You know, were captured by they were imprisoned up at Harrenhal for a while. You know, we're just about to the point of being tortured and stuff. And now he's just kind of found out that, oh yeah, my dad was actually king. You know, this.
You're saying he's not been having a good time?
It's kind of been a roller coaster, I got to think. You know, I mean, it's. I think part of it's been good. He finally gets accepted by these Brotherhood fellas, and now they're just like, yeah, she's kind of hot and she's got a shit ton of money, so we're gonna let you go.
The worst part for him is this whole time he had no idea why all these people were trying to kill him. And he's just constantly, people are trying to kill him, they're buying him, they're selling him. He doesn't have any idea why.
Just let me do my work.
So I say, finally, somebody told him. I'm fine with that. And it happened to be, you know, the hot witch. So,
yeah,
bonus points.
Cool. Also, across the narrow sea, Dany receives an emissary from young Kai, the next town on her Abraham Lincoln quest to free every slave that she comes across. So she didn't really take too well to that. She basically says, "Look, hey, I appreciate the little gift here of this big chunk of money, and I'll not going to do what you want." So
good day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thank you.
Good day to you, sir.
I said
I would appreciate it if you just let everybody go, make things a whole lot easier for you. So he doesn't take that too well. So basically, what he does is he sends his second sons to come see her, who are basically the heads of his mercenary army. And that actually, I believe, is in the next episode, where we actually meet Dario Naharis. He's the...
You mean Gunnar Nelson?
Yeah.
Ooh, just like an angel.
That guy looks so weird.
Why does he
compared to the other two? Well, yeah, he is. He's kind of... His facial bones are just a little too big, a little too broad. He does.
I don't know if they're false teeth or just really. I mean, they're really white, but it almost gives him a lisp or something. And I don't know. It's almost like a horse mouth or something. I don't know. He is very odd. He's a handsome chap, but he's very odd looking.
He's not handsome. I think he looks weird. His eyes are in the wrong place, and
Dany thinks he's handsome.
Oh yeah, she does. She's like, "Hey, what's up?" And the sad part about this episode is I really like the horrible foul-mouthed dick.
The other second son?
Yeah, the other guy.
Right.
He's such a good asshole. I'm like, finally we got somebody like interesting that's a bad guy again. And they got rid of him. Like, just took his head. I was really depressed about that. I'm like, this guy's going to be fun for a couple episodes.
He was a bit over the top.
He was. That's why I like him.
Oh, yeah. Like you said, Dany really likes him a whole lot. But her right-hand man, Jorah Mormont,
he's all, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
macking on
my
territory?
woman. That's right. Better step back, son.
Oh, man. You know, which is funny because he's like, whatever, 40-something years old, and she's like 18.
Hey, in this world, that don't mean shit.
This is true.
Apparently not.
So, yeah, a little bit later, Gendry finds out why Melisandre has an interest in him. And unfortunately, I mean, it was a kind of like Theon in a way. It kind of started out really well, but, you know, yeah, it didn't quite end as well as he would hope. She drops a bunch of, leeches on him and...
Well, didn't she put one on his junk?
Yeah.
Yep.
For
What
what?
is it that George R.R. Martin has got against dicks?
No, he didn't actually write that. I looked that up because apparently I like leeches on penises. He didn't actually write that in the book. She wasn't naked at all. Because this just shows us the showrunners just wanted to see her naked again. Because she's not naked in the book at all.
It serves the story. Move on.
Yeah, there's no leeches on a penis. They just put leeches on him. So why they had to do that? I guess they wanted to show, hey, there's a lot of blood down there.
Oh, like there's a lot of dick mutilation going on the show this season. I don't like it.
When did feminists take over Game of Thrones?
Angry ones.
Angry. When did Hillary Clinton take over Game of Thrones?
Oh, man. Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, to make it worse, hey, I'm tied up, I've got leeches on me, and now, there's, Stannis Baratheon and Davos Seaworth, and, I don't know, apparently everybody else comes walking in the room. I mean...
They just don't walk in and stick around.
All of a sudden, I've got performance anxiety. I'm a little bit freaky, but this is a little bit too much for me. But, in almost, I guess, a little bit of maybe some foreshadowing, Stannis does say, after... they remove the leeches. He drops them in the fire, and it says the usurper, Robb Stark, the usurper Balon Greyjoy, and the usurper Joffrey Baratheon.
Mm-hmm.
So, and boom, we see what happened to Robb.
Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, but again, I like, this is one of those things about the show that I love is, yeah, that is obviously somewhat relevant, if not just outright, like I say, foreshadowing, but it's not obvious. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's not. Mm-hmm. It's not something you expect. Oh, all right. Well, in the next episode or two, we're gonna have a big shakeup here. So,
no, I thought it was gonna be because the way the show goes, I figured it'd be something in season 5.
Right.
It's not like they're in a hurry to get where they're going.
Right. It's like they spend so much time building. You just feel like every season is building up, and then, oh yeah, bam, there's something that happens. Mm-hmm. So, let's see here. Sam and Gilly are, like I said, they're still making their way towards the wall. And that Grandpa White Walker that we saw at the end of season 2, he finally makes another appearance. Sam, being the, I guess the very, very lucky badass that he is, stabs him with that dragon glass, onyx looking, obsidian looking stuff, and then drops it. I mean, he kills the thing. I said, okay, bam, this thing works, and he leaves it on the fucking ground.
Well, I know that, coming up in, I think, season 10, you find out that he's got more of those.
Season 10?
No, I'm sorry, episode 10. You find out he's got more of that dragon glass.
I thought you were making a joke.
So did he drop it, or did it maybe get broken or damaged from killing the walker? I don't really recall.
No, he dropped it.
He dropped it, I guess. I thought at first because he shatters that maybe it shattered with him, but I think he dropped it. But
he's got more.
Yeah, so. But he's got a whole stash of it, so that's why he's like, oh well, fuck it,
get the fuck out of here.
And honestly, if I just killed this, whatever the hell that thing is, I'd probably want to leave real quick too.
No,
I would.
You gotta stick around and teabag it a little bit, throw a couple taunts, before it respawns.
Who's your daddy now, bitch?
White walking more like white faller. What's up?
Did you just say white faller?
Uh-huh. And pee on it, and then,
And then pee on it. Write your name in the snow on his
right.
face.
Sam was here. Boom.
Oh man.
All right, Stannis' daughter.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah, Stannis' daughter is teaching Davos Seaworth how to read. So that's kind of sweet of her.
That's cute.
You mean,
What happened to her
the half
face?
lizard girl?
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what's going on with her face, but she's got some bad shit going on.
Is she burned or was she like in V? I don't know.
I think she was created through magic.
Oh.
'Cause remember how Stannis, how the Red Witch, had those glass canisters with baby fetuses in them?
Mm-hmm.
I think she was like looking to make a male or something, and they talked about the daughter. I think the daughter was created via magic, and it wasn't what they wanted, but he wouldn't let her kill her or something, and so he's just kind of been raising her in a, tower room far away from everybody else.
All right. And
I think Stannis is the poster boy for like being pee-whipped.
Yeah.
She says something and he jumps.
well, to be fair, I mean, she kind of pays out at the end. So, I mean, he's getting the stuff that he wants eventually. And the battle he would have won if she would have went with. Probably. So, maybe there's something to be said. Plus, she looks good naked.
I'm not going to say being pee-whipped by her is a bad thing. Just saying he's the poster boy for it.
Yeah, he is. But he looks tough. He always looks tough. He's the one character in the show. This show is full of people that aren't technically villains because they have other layers and whatnot. He's the one whose layers are lacking, as far as I'm concerned. Like, he seems so one-note compared to everybody. Even Tywin Lannister, who originally, like last season, I thought, well, this is going to be a one-note character. And he turned out to be really layered, and you kind of see where he's coming from, even if you don't agree with him. This guy, I have no feelings for whatsoever. And if he's the one that ultimately rules, I'd move.
But see, he's that staunch guy. I mean, he's just got that one thing. This is what's right. This is just, and that's his view. That's where he comes from. This is just, and I'm supposed to be in charge here, and I'm not. So I'm doing whatever I can to make that happen. I mean, that's why he cut off the, parts of Davos Seaworth's fingers when he hired him on and made him a lord or whatever it was, whatever promotion he gave him.
Why did he cut his fingers off?
Because Davos he's a pirate basically.
He's a thief.
I forget the actual event that he did, but he says, "Look, I like you. You're loyal. I'm going to promote you. That being said, you did some really bad things and you got to pay for it. So I'm going to cut off the last digit of all of your fingers." Like the last little segment of each of your fingers.
I got to say, that's one promotion I probably decline. Like, you know what? I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, buddy.
So, and Davos, being the loyal guy that he is like, you know what? You're right. I did some bad shit. So you're fair.
Mm-hmm.
And he went with it. So, all right. The Reigns of Castamere, episode 9.
Oh, wait. No. Go back, because you missed Tyrion and his marriage to Sansa.
Okay.
You totally skipped that.
Kind of skipped over it on purpose, but all right.
All right. Well, you can come back to it as long as you come back to it. I just don't want to forget that.
Okay. No. I mean, we can go ahead and tackle it. It's fine.
That was probably one of my favorite portions of the season because the whole time I thought at some point when Tyrion, he married Sansa, I thought for sure at some point, because of his dad demanding it, he's going to have to father a child with her. And to see him actually, her say, all right, I'll do what's expected of me because I understand that's my job, my duty. And for him to decline, I thought was one of the classiest things of a completely classless show that we've seen all season. And I thought that's worth mentioning that, here's one guy who you see these layers of decency, and it's the one thing that makes me nervous for the character because everybody that starts getting too decent gets killed.
It's nice to see him not cross that line. And there's even a scene where he's talking with Bronn, his cell swordsman, his right hand guy. He's like, what do you think? And Bronn's like, dude, she's hot. I'd hit it. I mean, she's 14. She's got her moon blood or whatever it is they call it.
Her moon blood.
And, what you gonna do? You're married to her, so you kind of got to.
He's like, I've already filled that up and sealed it shut, man. How much of this, though, do you think is driven by Tyrion's nobility versus the whore that he brought with him to King's Landing, now being Sansa's maid servant, and constantly having her there reminding him of his love for her and his relationship with her, and not wanting to ruin that?
I think that's part of that, but I also think he feels horrible for Sansa because, he's always been the brunt of his family and he's always gotten the short end of the stick, and he knows what it feels like.
Short.
Yeah. Wow. He just knows what it feels like to not be respected or appreciated. And he sees all of the hell that she's been through. And I think he cares about her. I think he cares about her not in a romantic way. He just cares about her that...
No, he knows what she's been through. Even in last season when he comes back to King's Landing with his... he finally makes it back from the Eyrie, and he meets up with with Bronn and those Viking-looking Norsemen dudes, and he shows back up at King's Landing. I mean, he even approaches. He's even legitimately, sympathetic towards her, and explains to her to look. Hey, I'm terribly sorry about everything that your loss and all this other stuff. And you can tell he's being, honest and everything with her. And of course, she's not really buying it because she's so fucked up in the head. But I think he does really care for her, not in a romantic way, just in a humanist type of way.
Plus, he is kind of a pig. I mean, he wants to. There's just no doubt about it. He would like to. And I thought,
who doesn't? I mean, really.
Yeah, she's a very pretty girl. And the entire wedding scene where Joffrey basically threatens to rape her.
Oh, fuck. Oh, God, kill this kid.
What is wrong with this fucker? How do you end up this bad? How do you get this messed up?
By your mommy and daddy fucking each other and having you. They're siblings.
And I would love to say that, he's also like Stannis where he's not layered. But I also, he's 17. He just came into incredible power at a very young age. I think this is as layered as a 17-year-old gets most of the time. So it doesn't burn me the same way Stannis' character does. I'm sorry, Brian, you can go forward. I said my piece.
No, it's fine. I mean, it is a big part of it. So that's cool. Moving on, like I said, to the episode, The Reigns of Castamere. Real quick, Bran, he comes so close to meeting up with Jon. I mean, Bran's up in that tower with his group. Jon's down there where finally he's outed as not a member of the wildlings. But now it's basically they're just about farther apart than ever. What'd you think about that scene, that whole Jon kind of letting go of it? He's, at the same time, Jon kind of pushes Ygritte off in a way, how did you take that? Did you take that as him kind of saving her, or just like, whatever, I got what I wanted, peace out? Or
no,
what?
I think he tried to save her, and I think he really genuinely feels for her. I was kind of frustrated with Hodor up there just freaking out and causing, the people up there to be put in danger. But I liked seeing, Bran expanding his power, and he even saw Jon, so he knows Jon was right there, but then having them be split apart, distance put between them again, was kind of a nice little, oh, we're almost there. Oh, not going to happen.
Yeah, this is the biggest tease of any fucking show I've ever seen in my life. Now they're getting them within like in one episode,
like 100 feet or so.
100 feet or so. Multitude of characters are within 100 feet of each other, and nobody connects. Oh, it just makes you want to punch yourself in the face.
If he wasn't paralyzed, he could have jumped out that window, landed on the back of his horse, and rode off with Jon.
I did feel bad for Ygritte, though.
He could have dropped on his horse. What's that?
I felt bad for Ygritte. I mean, she loves Jon. It's plain to see, and she really has high hopes for their relationship and their future with the wildlings. And to suddenly have that kind of just torn asunder, I do feel bad for her because she's not the bad guy in this.
No,
She's
not in this
already-
episode. She's the
she'd
bad guy
already
in the
faced
next episode when she fucking shoots him with multitudes of arrows.
Hey, he fucking betrayed her. Traitors get what traitors get.
Oh,
And
Lord have
in her
mercy.
heart, he is a traitor 2 times over with her and with the wildlings.
You know, she'd already changed her Facebook status to in a relationship with Jon.
Now it's complicated.
Wow.
Oh, again, you know, Dany, she frees her 200,000 plus slaves from young Kai. They, the second, Dario Naharis leads a few of the Jorah Mormont and a couple of others into the city, and I don't know, really,
Take
what
out a fuck ton of guards.
yeah,
They
and
just
now,
opened
I'll
the
be honest
door.
with you,
No big deal.
That was kind of a distraction for me. The little fight scene. It looked like something from one of those History Channel specials or something.
Yeah, that fight scene looked pretty weak, actually.
So,
The one thing I want to say about that is when he comes back and he walks in and he's like, "Hey, we took the castle for your my queen and everything else," and she's like, "Great, where's the other dude?" I mean, just the look on his face when you could tell she was more concerned with what's the new guy, the ugly guy?
Dario Naharis.
Yeah, when she sees him and then she smiles and she's relieved, and to see the look on his face was so sad.
It was.
So bad for him. I'm like, you're always going to be in the friend zone. Always. Your friend zone just got a little bigger. You're never leaving. If I was him, I would kill that fucker in his sleep. I don't care if he's from that world of the assassins where, you know, that guy from last season was. Kill him.
No. See that? Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing you kind of bring that up because you think that he or thought, I guess, I don't know if you still do that he is Jaqen Hagar, the guy that was friends with Arya.
Yeah, I think
season 2.
either he is him or he's from the same general Assassin's Creed, so to speak. Because he's definitely, he said, what are the words? They used him again in the
Valar Morghulis.
Thank you, Valar Morghulis. And he just, they can change their faces. That's all I'm saying. He did leave, and I think it's possible.
Now, as far as the Valar Morghulis is a greeting.
Mm-hmm.
The response to that is Valar Dohaeris, which Valar Morghulis was the last episode from season 2. Valar Dohaeris, the title for season, for the first episode of this season. So, I don't think that. See, to me, he's, he kind of spoke in this real slow, like a man must do this, a man must do that. And this guy really doesn't do that. I don't think it's the same person personally. Plus, this guy has built a relationship and built trust with these second sons. He's obviously been there for a while. Whereas all this is supposedly going on around the same time. So I don't think he could have been over there with Arya at the same time he's building trust with the second sons.
Fair enough. It was just a theory. He's definitely from the same neighborhood, though.
They might be from a couple blocks over.
Yeah.
I think he's a smoke monster. Let's move on.
Okay, the Red Wedding. I mean, is this possibly one of the just biggest kick in the nuts you've ever gotten?
It might be one of I'd put in the top 10 episodes of television ever. And I know that's premature because it just came out not too long ago, but I honestly would put it there.
It's one of the biggest surprise endings since Terry Brower got fucking shot.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, go ahead and run down what happened, Brian, in case people missed it.
Yeah. In case you, in case you haven't been alive or something for the last week or two. Robb Stark, and he brings his whole group to Walder Frey. Says, "Hey, look, I'm sorry. My bad. I really kind of screwed you over. I understand that.
My bad.
I did it for love. And but But hey, I got my buddy Edmure here. He's gonna be good for you guys. So he's here to marry one of you girls here. So Walder Frey plays it off fairly well. He kind of had me fooled, and apparently millions of others,
including Robb Stark.
Yeah. Walter's like, hey, all right, take bread, eat this little snack. And I don't know if you guys realize this, but the significance of they passed around some, I believe it's bread and salt or meat, some kind of meat and salt. And this is a very big deal. This is one of probably the more universally sacred things that you can do. They didn't do a good job of explaining this, but this is one of the biggest things you do. Once you eat in somebody else's house, all bets are off. You can't harm them. They can't harm you, no matter what. You can let your guard down, whatever. So when they eat, they feel comfortable. Obviously, after some drinks and stuff, they feeling really comfortable.
I'll be honest. Once they introduce rules like that, you should just assume they're going to break them. At this point, as soon as they say,
well, that's just it. They never really introduced it. They showed them. They showed them eating it. It's not like they said, "Oh, hey, we're going in here, and once we eat, we're good."
Yeah, I know they do bring it up in the next episode, but yeah, you're right. Continue.
So, So basically, they have a party. Edmure's wife turns out to be kind of hot. Mm-hmm. Not one of the ugly 20 daughters that Walder Frey forgot, especially the last one. He forgot, like, Waldina.
Not all the fugglies.
Mm-hmm. Frey gives him a little nod even. He's like, right. Could have hit that.
Like, yeah, and it was kind of like that. Yeah, you could have had her. She's kind of hot.
See Robb Stark going, God damn it. Could hit that.
Before you continue, he kind of, prior to that, before the wedding, he sits there and completely denigrates his wife, Robb's new wife. And, basically explains her firm ass and tight body and everything else and just demeans her in front of everyone, mocks Robb Stark. And then, so you think, you're led to believe they do that very, very well. And it very much, I felt like, okay, so the worst is over. Because,
he got his digs in.
He's got his digs in. I thought, if anything, Robb was going to flip out on him. But.
Well, he even tried to, but Catelyn stopped him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so, back to the wedding. Sorry.
No, it's fine. And so of course Walder Frey introduces all the girls. Edmure is marrying apparently the hottie who has been in hiding this whole time.
How did they keep that hidden? That's what I want.
I don't know, but they did a good job of that too. So basically, they everything's going great. They have the bedding where the ceremony, which was supposed to happen at Tyrion's wedding, but of course Tyrion mouthed off and kind of made things really awkward, so they kind of skipped that part. But in this case, looks like everything was going along good. Edmure was being stripped of his clothes as they were walking out.
Real quick before you move on, what the hell is the bedding? I'm sorry, but that's what we're talking about the show.
All right.
What is the bedding ceremony? Everybody sits around and watches them have sex?
To confirm that they've consummated the marriage.
That is fucked up. Who came up with that idea?
Just some freaky pervert?
Some freaky pervert with a crown, apparently.
The same people who, cut dicks off and send them in boxes. So, go figure.
I mean, at least it's not prima nocta, where the king gets to get that first lay in.
Oh, yeah, good call. Yeah.
You want that guy all up in your shit? No.
So Edmure's out doing what he's supposed to be doing with his new bride, and everybody else kind of resumes partying. You notice that little guy's kind of one of the squirrely-looking sons in the background. Close the door, and that's really your first clue as to...
my ear rose.
Yeah. Say, huh?
What's going on? Are they going to do a bedding ceremony inside too? What's up?
But once again, a very good job of not being over the, just blatant with it. It was, it was a little bit of foreshadowing, but it wasn't over the top as a lot of TV shows would be.
Did anybody else recognize the song?
Was it the Lannister? And I was going to ask this a little bit later, but was that the Lannister song?
Yeah, it's the Reigns of Castamere. They actually played it in the second season. Right. So I recognized the music. I'm like, why the hell would they be playing the? Oh, that can't be good. That's literally how my mind went. I'm like, why would they be playing? Oh, that can't be good. Because they played it, right after they shut the door.
And I didn't realize that was the name of the song, but it was the one that like Braun was singing right before the big battle.
Yep, that's where they sang it.
Right.
Yep.
Oh, I thought they were playing Stairway to Heaven. My bad.
Same ending.
Please get it, man.
Oh man! So, and then once they start playing, it's literally all hell breaks loose. We've got the guys break out the crossbows. Rob's shot up a number of times.
Caitlin is the first to realize something's up. And she reaches over and peels back that guy's leather, his coat to reveal the chainmail beneath it. That's when she really fully grasps what's happening. And then all of a sudden, Mommy gets not Caitlin, but Rob's wife gets stabbed in the stomach, like just getting shivved in a prison. Oh my God.
Well, and even then, I mean, that shows you how slow I am. As I'm sitting there going, oh, Bolton knows something's up, or he suspects something's up. I wasn't thinking so much that he flipped on him. I was thinking, all right, he suspects something. He suspects something's going on with the phrase, and he's prepared. That's why he wasn't drinking. He just kind of wanting to stay on his guard defensively, not offensively.
Right.
So that, I guess, it was just added a little bit more, heartbreak to me or whatever. And then, of course, she slaps him, and then he hauls ass, and that's when the arrows start flying, and like I say, oh gosh, Talisa, is that her name?
Yes.
Yeah, she gets stabbed, and obviously they knew that she was pregnant.
How did they know that she was pregnant? I didn't know anybody. I never once heard them in the show tell anyone.
Right.
I'm not even sure how she could know she was pregnant.
She did. I mean, she did. She mentioned it like one or two episodes before that she was pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, they got like an EPT or something.
Whatever.
She probably missed her period a couple of months, and back then that was as good a sign as any.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course they did have the conversation about what to name him, that kind of stuff. If it's a boy, we'll name him Ed.
Ned got killed twice in one fucking series.
We should have known shit was going to go downhill when she's going to name him Ned.
Yeah, we're going to name him Ned, and he should have been like, no. How about we call it John or Brandon, because those fuckers are alive.
Oh, man. So, that was... So, yeah, she takes it straight in the gut. But, Walter Frey has got all these daughters and granddaughters and all this stuff. So, I think he's got a pretty good sense of when somebody's pregnant and when they're not.
Well, and remember, you just kind of reminded me when he was calling her out earlier on and talking about her figure and whatnot. Yeah, he said, you're trying to hide her as much as you can, but I've been around long enough. I can see through all that. So, hell, the guy's seen enough pregnant women. Maybe he just knows what one looks like.
Right. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Flush to the skin or something.
Oh,
yep.
Man.
And literally heads start to roll. God,
that's true.
Dang.
Yeah, that was heart-wrenching to watch. That whole scene was heart-wrenching.
Everybody getting shot up.
Yeah, and if it's like, okay, bang, it's slowing down finally, and then you realize, all right, well, dang, Rob's still alive, Catelyn's still alive. There's
They'll
a
fix this
chance.
somehow.
Right. Mm-hmm. There's a sliver of hope here. No, Roose Bolton rushes in. The Lannisters send their regards, which, honestly, I forget which episode it was, but that was kind of an allusion to earlier in the season. And, so he stabs Rob, Catelyn she's begging, and what a fantastic performance, by her, by Catelyn. And just, you would have thought, that was her real son there. I just thought she was phenomenal.
I think
she grabs Walden's wife, hoping that will, his wife's life will be what she can leverage to save them. No, Paul was like, I'll find another.
You would have thought that would have carried some weight, but when Michelle Fairley, that's who plays Catelyn Stark, when she's given that plea in that last minute of begging, did anybody else think that she might get out of this? Since Rob was still alive and she was still alive, did you think maybe they'll get out of it?
Yeah, because 40 years of television have conditioned me that your heroes don't usually die.
Especially not when you already killed one of the main heroes of the show. You're not going to kill the next one, the guy that's going to avenge his father's death. That was wrong.
You know, the guy we've spent 2 seasons following his campaign to avenge his dad, only to have him killed.
Right. Yeah, and of course that's just one of the many things that adds to the emotion of the of the episode. That holy cow type of episode that this has been. It just.
But who wasn't killed?
Now Edmure, we find out in the next episode, is in a dungeon. He's imprisoned.
Homeboy thought he was about to bed a pretty wife.
Yeah.
Wait, so when did we find this out?
In the next episode.
Yeah,
I must have missed that. I honestly did not hear that he was in prison.
It was mentioned by Lord Frey and Roose Bolton were having a conversation, and he says, they're all dead. One of the remaining family members is imprisoned, and the other one, the Blackfish,
he got away. I heard that.
Yeah, he went out to take a leak on a tree, and of course he bolted.
That was the best leak of his life.
Yep.
So Edmure,
thank God for a small bladder.
So Edmure is in prison.
Apparently so, yeah.
So he's not dead. Okay. Well, I missed that part. I thought something happened and I must have missed it because I did not hear that part. Thank you for clearing that up.
So,
and Blackfish is still running, by the way. Blackfish is still running right now.
Yeah, right. And that's what they were talking about. Like, hey, look, why do we need, of course, this to me is foreshadowing because they had a pretty good conversation about why there's no need to worry about him. He's got no army. Mm-hmm. He's got no family. His family is here. The only family member he's really got is here in prison. Everybody else is either missing or dead. So what do we really care about this guy?
I hope we find out soon.
So, let's see here. So, speaking of Roose Bolton, he's actually been appointed the new Warden of the North, which was what Ned Stark's role was. Mm-hmm. Arya and the Hound arrived just in time to see the, she missed the worst. Well, she missed seeing all of her family die. Although she did see Rob's wolf shot up, but then she unfortunately was.
Seriously, you killed Catelyn, Rob, and then you killed the dog. That was necessary. Martin's a dick.
That's a dire wolf, my brother.
Martin,
you don't leave an angry dire wolf just sitting around.
Our Martin is a very, very angry man, and he needs a hug. Stop killing everything. Because all the dire wolves, I thought they were going to play a part for the whole series, and I think, 3 of them are dead? 2?
Yeah, something like that.
2 or 3 of them are dead. Wow.
And, what did you think about what they did to Rob's corpse and the direwolf corpse after?
That was fucked up.
Yeah. Are we on to episode 10 now?
Yeah, we'll just go. Yeah, we'll move on.
Yeah, that's some heinous shit.
And unnecessary, really.
Just cut off his junk and hang it around or something. That's what you do.
That's what you do in Game of Thrones world.
Mm-hmm.
In Westeros, we just cut penises out as much as we can. Everybody's a eunuch.
Hang them around like bunting,
Aaron, now I know you, like I said, you became a big, and I believe this last episode is probably the main reason why you became a big fan of Arya. How she shot up your leaderboard, so to speak.
Well, here's the thing. Arya has been I've really loved her arc since she first went free because she's never become that annoying teenager. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where she starts grating on your nerves, doing tons of stupid things. She's finding herself in dire straits, but it's because of the circumstances. It's not because she makes a ton of bad choices. She
kind of like Sansa in season 1.
I don't have a lot of sympathy for Sansa. I'm like, hey, guess what? You begging is probably one of the reasons your dad's dead. Nice job. But Arya, she always says she's very much a fighter. She's got a lot of spunk. She looks like she's, she wants to kill, but then you see her in little moments where you realize she's not ready for that. And then she sees this and realizes in her mind she's got no one left. Because as far as she knows, Sansa's marrying Joffrey, the man who basically helped kill her dad and now her mom and her brother. She's got no one left. She doesn't know if Jon Snow's alive. She doesn't know where Bran is. As far as she knows, he's burnt up. So she just loses it. She sees the guy that apparently killed her brother, and without even thinking, just goes over, plays a perfect innocent trick on him with the coin and whatnot, and stabs him in the back, and the neck and back and throat and wherever else she stabbed him.
Jumped on like a spider monkey.
And then thankfully the Hound jumped in and saved her from the other guys that were, she was fending off. But you just saw she gave such a great performance. Such a solid actress. Mace Williams is her name. She does such a fantastic job in this show of conveying a real coming of age person. And you watch these series where you see a villain and they try to do backstory to explain how they became that way, or they see a killer and they try to explain why they became a killer. We're actually seeing one built from the ground up, and I think that's really impressive. So to me, she's jumped to the top.
Yeah, because she's about to become an assassin.
Yeah, they've been building to it for a couple seasons, but this, I think, that was the moment.
And she pulls out that coin and starts whispering into it to call, what was his name?
Jack and Hagar.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's calling him to aid, and I'm assuming that's going to be the path she's on, is to become an
I believe what he says is if you go to, I think it was go to Bravos and tell them those words, Valor Morgulis. Give them that coin, and somehow, whatever, he magically appears or something. I don't know how on earth they know how to get in touch with him. If Valor Morgulis is a greeting that's commonly known, I don't know how she goes to one place and says Valor Morgulis and they know to get, let me ring up Jack and Hagar for you real quick. He'll be here in a fortnight or something. So, but maybe that'll be explained later.
Maybe they have like a bat signal or something.
True.
A bat signal.
All right, well, Balon Greyjoy isn't exactly thrilled about receiving his son's member in a box. Basically, just kind of says, "Screw him. He's no son. He's not a son anymore. He's
officially a daughter."
That's right.
I don't leave the house for anything less than a real son. And apparently, he doesn't leave the house for that either, because he lived in Winterfell for quite a while.
Yeah, but his daughter Yara is she doesn't
more man than he is.
Absolutely. So she doesn't think the same way. So she says, "You know what? I'm going to take 50 of the best killers, take one of the fastest ships. I'm going to get my motherfucking brother."
That was probably one of the weakest parts, because I don't understand it. I get where she's coming from. That's my brother. I'm going for him. But he was at Winterfell forever. Nobody ever came.
Well,
why do they give a shit now?
No. They
he was at Winterfell as part of a punishment to the Greyjoys, wasn't it, for their uprising? So they took Theon to kind of raise in their home to keep them pacified, or
yeah. When the Starks took over, they said, "All right, we're just to make sure that you stay in check. We're going to keep your son. So you attack our lands, then you're more likely going to kill your son. So we're keeping him just to kind of keep you in check, so to speak.
Keep you honest,
right? After he leaves, and then of course he wants to please Daddy. He goes and takes over Winterfell. Then, whenever Roose Bolton's bastard, Ramsay, the psychotic torturer, his guys say, "Okay, we'll give you, all of you Ironborn guys, we'll let you go free. We just want Theon." And so that's, and of course that's how he ends up being tortured and stuff. So yeah, it's a little squirrely up there. But yeah, Yara, she ain't standing for it. She's taking the guys out and going to get him back. Which is this is like the only time all season we've seen her for 4 minutes or something like that in this whole season.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jaime and Brienne both arrive at the capital. Of course, he goes straight to Cersei. it's kind of interesting to see that he's not the celebrated. Nobody knows who he is. Nobody recognizes him. He's not really celebrated when he comes in. A lot of people are rude to him. So,
Well, of course, they don't recognize him, I'm sure, at first, because last time they saw Jamie Lannister, he looked a little better than that.
Last time they saw him, when he applauded, you could tell. Not so much. And did you notice that when he walks in there, I mean, Cersei looks at him and then his hand? Like, oh, shit. Damn.
Because that was my good boob hand.
That was my good boob hand. How am I going to work with that, Stumpy?
Oh God, no, let's move on. Yeah, she kind of, but you could see there was definite joy there, but also a great deal of sadness.
Mm-hmm. But you would think after all this time she would have got up and leapt in his arms. She's just like, hey, what's up?
Well, just overcome.
Yeah, I mean, it's called shock.
Look it up.
Back up at the wall, Sam and John both are at the wall. So, of course, Sam's in a little bit better health than John because John took a few arrows from Ygritte. Love hurts.
Yeah, he was a little pissed.
That was fucking crazy. I'm sorry. That's when you're like, all right, we broke up, right? I can see other people now because obviously you're not getting over it.
Samwell does convince Master Aemon or Maester Aemon, as he corrected Gilly, to send out ravens to alert the rest of Westeros about the arrival of the White Walkers. And for once, it looks like they kind of believed him and took him at his word. So the word gets out. The first people that we see about getting word is Stannis Baratheon, as he's just about to kill his trusted Davos Seaworth for letting Gendry go. Mm-hmm. He allowed him to escape. And again, that kind of plays to his sense of honor and all that stuff about Davos. This is one of the reasons I like him. I think Davos is really one of the very last truly good people in this series. But that's just me.
That means he's going to die. You know that, right? There's no way he makes it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously there's no way he makes it. But, you know, the Red Witch or Queen, whatever her name is, Melisandre, she said, hey, we need him. He's going to be around for a while. So we got that going.
Which kind of made me like her for just a little bit.
A little bit.
Because she can say, oh, we're going to need him because I need to throw him into the fire later. That's really what she's saying.
Well, I mean, she could have easily have ignored it and just had him killed because she obviously doesn't like the guy. But, you know, she decided to go ahead and save his life and knowing that this guy might be pivotal. You know, you could see in her eyes that there's not just the one goal, but she understands that in order to reach that goal, there are other things that have to be done. And this guy may, you know, be pivotal to that. So as much as I'd like to have this nuisance gotten rid of, I would much rather, you know, not die to the White Walkers. So keep him around because we're going to need him. Yeah, it's not the immediate gratification that so many villains seem to have.
What I don't understand is he mentions about the news about the White Walkers. She then looks into the fire and goes, oh, shit, he's right.
Didn't she see that before?
Yes.
Apparently she changed the channel. I'm like, oh, shit. Sorry, I had it on Nickelodeon.
Of course, the season ended with yet another scene of Dany and a bunch of people.
Crowd surfing.
Yeah, she's like, Rolling Stones. I half expected Mick Jagger to walk out.
Have you guys noticed like a lot of these episodes are ending with animal noises?
What?
Mm-mm.
No.
Yeah, next time you go through a season, look how many end in a dragon screaming, a bear screaming, whatever. It's like...
I'm pretty sure the bear I can count on one hand. In one finger, how many times that happened? Once.
I'm just saying, it seems
why
to be...
Why you got to shit on this point?
It's a weird point to make, Brian. I give you credit for coming up with it at all.
I'm just saying, there's kind of this little pattern of...
Animal noises.
When you see an animal, a bird, or a crow, a dragon, a bear...
It does seem that all the seasons end on... Well, I don't know. Last season didn't end on the dragons.
No, it ended on the White Walkers.
That's right. But the first season and this season both ended on dragons.
I do commend the fact that Stannis seemed like he was having, he agreed, I got to go fight north. Dany got her army. Everybody seems like they're going the right way, except for Joffrey, because the motherfucker is still alive. That's all I cared about at the end of this. I'm like, why is he still here? Please kill him in season 4. Even if it's not in the book, just kill him. Just don't care. And I'm sure somebody that's, read all the books like, I know what happens. I don't. Kill him soon. Because there's some characters that are alive in the books, I guess, that they've killed on the show and vice versa. I don't want him to be one of those.
Do you hate him because how evil he is and how bad he is, or do you think he's just a poorly written character and just tired of seeing him?
No, because I think, like I said before, I truly believe that a 17-year-old boy who, has a mean streak, a 17-year-old bully, you give a 17-year-old bully that kind of power, I think you're going to see the same results. So I don't think it's so much poorly written. I think Stannis is a little poorly written. I think Joffrey is just, the kid's playing him very well. I'm sure that kid's a very nice kid. I feel sorry for him for the next 10 years because nobody's going to like him. He's not going to have a whole lot of friends in real life. Nobody's going to trust him. He's probably going to get a lot of people kicking him in the head.
Well, I'm not. It's funny. I mean, you say that, but if you watch the commentaries on some of the past seasons, they actually mention that. A lot of the other people are like, it's so funny to see him being such a jerk because he is such a sweet kid. And it's a shame that people walk up to him and tell him, I hate you.
Yeah. I'm sure he takes it as a compliment.
Draco Malfoy has to be like, woo!
Right.
Thank God, now there's a new blonde kid they can all hate on.
All right, guys, I know we're running a little bit long here, but just got a couple of little things here. What do you want to see in the future? Or, maybe now that you do realize this is like the first half of book 3, roughly speaking. So season 4 should be the rest of the third book. So what do you want to see? Obviously, we know Aaron wants to see Joffrey die. Mm-hmm. Justin, what do you want?
I'd like to see the White Walkers continuing to advance towards the wall. I love the fact that the first season, the very first things you see are the White Walker. Is a White Walker up in the north, and throughout all of these seasons, there has been that continuing drumline of winter is coming, the White Walkers are coming, and even though you only see them in fleeting glances and they're not a huge part of the story, I love that, while we have all of these machinations going on between the different kingdoms of Westeros and Dany doing what she's doing, even though all this little fighting is going on, that this bigger fight is on the way. They never let you forget it, but they don't harp on it so much that it feels, at least for me, tired. Or it's like, oh, Jesus, are they ever going to show up again? They're giving me just the right amount of they're out there, they're coming, without overdoing it. So I would like to see them continue that, maybe see some more White Walkers, but really start seeing why they're as feared as they are. And I would like to see an expansion of Bran's abilities. We did see him take over Hodor, so obviously he has an ability that no one's ever seen before of actually being able to enter a human being. So let's see that develop. And I'd like to continue to see Tyrion doing what he's doing, and a little bit of a falling out maybe between Cersei and how did I just forget his name? Lannister.
Tyrion?
No.
Tywin? Joffrey?
Her brother.
Jamie,
thank you.
Yeah,
Jamie
if we name
Lannister.
them all, eventually we'll get there.
Yeah, hit them all. But yeah, I think I'd really like to see the White Walkers more, and I like to see the dragons continuing to grow and Dany's armies growing, because Westeros is kind of fucked. To the north of them, they've got the White Walkers coming, but to the to the east of them, they've got Dany, her dragons, and this continually building army coming at them. And I can only imagine that both of those armies are probably going to arrive at about the same time. And as feared as Dany and her dragons are, they'll probably be all that would save Westeros from being completely overrun.
You know what? I honestly think Dany is not going to make it to the end of the show. I really don't believe that. I want her to, I really do, but I don't think she will. It seems too obvious at this point. And every time I get really invested in a character and think, oh, they're going to make it happen, they die. So I just don't foresee a long in this world for her.
She's the
Really?
last of the Targaryens. I don't think they would get rid of the last of the Targaryens, at least not maybe until the very end of the thing, because without her, they don't have those dragons.
It's a good
Yeah,
point.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot that revolves around the dragons and her and stuff. So I don't think she's quite the Ned or Robb Stark type of person, or where they say, okay, now that you're used to her, we'll kill her off. I mean, I was kind of thinking the same thing about as far as kind of a fire versus ice type of thing. You got the White Walkers coming down, you got the girl with dragons and stuff coming up. Everybody else is kind of squeezed in the middle, going, "Shit, we're kind of screwed here, so we'll help out, Dany Targaryen." But that again, that just sounds a little too simple and too predictable. And God, if we've learned anything, just you can't. You can't go with a predictable line here.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. As far as what I want to see, it's not so much Joffrey dying. That's just something I want to happen. I don't really care when it happens. It just better happen. Arya, I want to see where her storyline goes. I want to see what they do to increase her. I think she's going to have to go through some, was it Bravos?
Yeah.
Go through some training. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see her develop into an assassin. But also keep who she is, because she's got a really good heart. Even though she's a fighter, she's got a really good heart. I don't want her to lose that. I realize she's going to have to some degree. I like this whole her and Hound dynamic, because, that character, you kind of always wrote off as, well, he's never going to be really integral to the story. Lo and behold, turns out he is. I look really forward to that. I'm kind of tired of the Jaime Lannister story. I think he's run his course. I don't really know what more he could have to offer, except now we're going to see him train with his other hand or something. I really like Brienne. I think she's developed, from the last season. I thought she was just an okay character. This season, she's really won me over. I think she's really had a chance to shine and show that, there's a lot more to her than just, her blind honor.
Couldn't you just see Cersei and her, though, getting into it?
Oh, yeah.
Cersei getting all jealous and shit. That's my man.
I actually think Cersei will end up killing herself. I don't think anyone will kill Cersei. I think she'll end up killing herself. Which
what she even mentioned, she said, "Hey, if it wasn't for my, talking with Tyrion," she said, yeah, "Look, if it wasn't for my kids, I would have thrown myself out a window years ago." So you're probably, I mean, there is some probability with that.
Fair enough. In terms of everybody else, I want to see some Starks get some flippin' justice. That's what I'd like to see. I don't even care which one at this point. I'd love for Sansa to kill Tywin Lannister, just to see her finally evolve as a character, because I really feel it's like she's one of the few that has not gotten much further than where she was. I would love to see that. It was almost heartbreaking to see her and Tyrion getting along for a little bit. Like, you could see that they could actually have a real relationship, and then that was destroyed. So I'm kind of curious how that pans out. I mean, I thought the finale did a great job of setting up the next season, which is what their 10th episodes always are. They did
right. Yeah, the big shocker, or a lot of seasons, the big shocker is the last episode to draw you into what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Oh, everybody died in this plane crash, or did they? And then, but what this one is doing, along with a lot of other shows that are starting to do, is give the big shocker in the 9th episode, and then kind of set things up next.
Which I think is great. You're so accustomed anymore to every season finale has to be a huge cliffhanger. I'm glad they don't do that. I'm glad they don't do a huge cliffhanger. They kind of close the story out and set it up for whatever the next season is going to be. And this one I thought I love this finale. This is probably my favorite finale out of all of them. So I'm really looking forward to the next season. I can't wait to see how a lot of these arcs play off. Or pay off, and I'm looking forward to it.
Do you think at the very end of the series, as the smoke clears, all we're really going to see is Rickon standing there with a sword over his head, maybe grabbing Dany by the butt? He's the last surviving Stark.
I kind of think it's going to be Jon Snow and Daenerys. Yeah, that's how I think it's going to pan out. and one of them will die at the very, very end. I think because Martin has said it's going to be a bittersweet ending, and I think that's what's going to happen. You're going to have two of these characters are going to marry, join the houses, so to speak, and then one of them will die.
Maybe Cersei kills herself when Joffrey dies.
I hope so. I hope she can die however she wants. She's not a character I think is is possible.
I
to
like
redeem.
Cersei.
It'll be like Joffrey and Arya married at the end, and then Joffrey's the last one standing, just because he's so fucking
Aaron
hated.
would kill himself.
His head just exploded right now just thinking about it.
That's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah, good call.
Well, overall, I mean, just overall, what would you say? Was this a good one, a bad one this season?
Oh, I think it's the best season so far.
I still got to give it to season 1. I mean, that was the first that really introduced me to this world. I loved the arc of that season. This was a great season for me. It started a little slow, but by episode 4 or 5, it started finding more of its footing. Though that could have just been me trying to find my footing in the season. But all in all, I mean, I have not been disappointed by this show yet. Every season has just been great episode after great episode.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great season. I believe the first season it's just going to hold that special place, I think, just because of the intro. You're just getting accustomed to all the characters and then the shock factor with Ned Stark and all that stuff. So, like I said, that being said, it just ranks right up there. This was a fantastic season. I agree with you. It was a slow beginning here, the first 2 or 3 episodes. Once it got rolling, it's a slow burn.
Mm-hmm. It is a slow burn. Absolutely.
But I loved it. And I've probably watched every episode 2 or 3 times each already.
Wow.
Good Lord.
Yeah. When do you don't have time to read show notes, but you got time to watch Game of Thrones fucking 18 times a day.
That's because I'm watching Game of Thrones.
He's got priorities.
All right, guys. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate y'all doing this with me. Like I said, this is my show, Game of Thrones. This is that one that I just latch on. Obviously, like I said, watched it every episode 2 or 3 times already. So, appreciate you guys doing this with me. Aaron,
yes,
appreciate
sir.
it.
Thanks for having me, Brian. I appreciate it.
And Justin, of course, always a pleasure, my brother.
Thank you so much.
Why does Justin get enough, of course? And I just got, hey, Aaron, thanks for being there. It felt like he's a little more special. I don't appreciate that.
I think I am.
He is the diva.
All right, fair enough. He's got to stroke it. I understand.
There you go.
That's right.
All right. Well, to the rest of you listeners out there, just a reminder: new episodes every Thursday. Subscribe on iTunes, Zune, listen on your Stitcher Radio app. Give us a thumbs up, or just a plain old RSS feed. Go to thehollywoodoutsider.com. Go on to facebook.com/thehollywoodoutsider. Reach us on Twitter at @H_outsider. Of course, you can email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsider.com. Or right now, you can leave us a message or a text at 818-814-6246. Once again, guys, thanks a lot. This has been a blast. I know we probably ran a little longer than you like, but I guess until, next season or...
Yeah, next year.
Next year. Damn, this seems like forever. Anyway, have a good night.
Alice Morgolis.